All right. We're back.
We are back. Episode 8.
Glad to be back. Is it episode 8?
Mm-hmm.
Well, last one did really well. Want to say thank you to everybody. You know, we're not trying to do clickbait drama videos, but we're not shying away from any topic. If it's relevant, we'll discuss it. So if you guys want in the comments, we can make this a little bit more interactive. I mean, we don't really have a plan when it comes to programming. Like, anything is on the table. I mean, we were even talking about starting to curate some logo designs and assets for 100 Thieves. We obviously have a lot of talented designers that work here, but I feel like with how quickly the wheels fall off and these episodes get pretty unhinged, it could be fun to have everybody submit some logo suggestions.
We'll go through them live.
And go through them live.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on whether you watch this like in the car on Spotify or just like straight audio. But I feel like the YouTube videos could be pretty interactive.
Mm-hmm.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, 100%.
Hopefully you wrote some things down, though, just because I feel like last week, recording the Courage Nadeshot show and our podcast together, we discussed a lot of topics. Honestly, the number one thing that's on my mind right now is probably AI. It's still kind of fucking with me.
Mm-hmm.
I was really messing around yesterday with ChatGPT at night, signed up for the premium so that I could... I won't get locked out of it because most of these services are at capacity.
Yeah.
You know, I saw people talking about ChatGPT on Twitter and they're like, oh, you need to really try Bard on Google, but you have to join a wait list for that as well. Mm-hmm. Bro, Google is fucked. I mean, let me rephrase that. Google, they're going to figure things out. I mean, I'm sure Bard is already pretty comprehensive or comparable to ChatGPT. But even yesterday, people did some like data mining and found out that ChatGPT is almost ready to go with plugins to apps that you use every day, like Instacart for grocery deliveries and OpenTable for reservations. Mm-hmm. I mean, ChatGPT is actually unbelievable. I was just using it as a search engine last night, and the level of coherence that it replies to you with great suggestions. Like, I feel like there used to be a skill set around Googling. Mm-hmm. Like back in the day, early 2010s, and even now, actually, to this day, I feel like your ability to search on Google and sift through information to find what you're looking for was a skill set.
Yeah.
And now ChatGPT has just taken that completely out of the equation, and now anything is at your fingertips.
Are you talking in terms of search being a skill, just like the commands you're using and putting stuff in quotations, specific words and things like that? Or
yeah, I would say so. I mean, I don't think you even need to go down that far of a rabbit hole. It's more or less just finding what you're looking for, because I think Google has certainly gotten better at delivering results, but just tailoring your responses or what you want Google to elicit. I think that used to be, I guess, searching on the internet in general used to be a skill set. And now it's like people are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars on job listings already for people that can write prompts for ChatGPT and all these AI bots.
Did you see the like Siri replacement for ChatGPT?
Yeah, I saw. I mean, that's what I was actually looking at that in the bathroom. It came up on my Twitter search when I was looking at ChatGPT and API access. Mm-hmm. But I feel like so many aspects of our life are just going to be automated by one quick command.
Yeah.
Which is pretty wild to think about.
A couple episodes ago, I was very against AI, but the more I'm using it, I'm like, you know what? If they do take over, fuck it. Like, this is nice.
Wait, why were you against it?
Because robots are 100% going to take over and AIs are going to become sentient, and iRobot is going to happen.
Well, Will Smith's still alive. I feel like he could save the day again if he needs to.
Nah, Will Smith is just a cuck now.
You think Will Smith? No, come on.
Bro, did you see the Chris Rock special?
I didn't watch the Chris Rock special, but you're telling me one lapse of judgment, although it was a pretty big moment and not the best forum, I would say, to have that breakdown. Just this lifetime body of work of Will Smith being probably one of America's favorite actors. You just don't fuck with him and you think he's a cuck now?
Yeah, he was one of my favorite actors too. This hurts. I can't watch a Will Smith movie anymore.
Brother, I think people are going to be on your ass for this one.
Well, they can be, because as a man of absolutes, again, I'm boycotting all Will Smith films.
Look, I don't know. I think the human ego is a hard thing to explain, but everybody has an ego, right? And
to the point that you get up during the Oscars and smack Chris Rock in the face.
Deplorable act of violence from Will Smith, but man,
I can't take a joke.
Well, I don't know, man. I just feel like there's more on the line when it comes to emotion around your wife, and clearly he perceived that joke as something that I don't think Chris Rock actually intended. He should not have walked up there and slapped Chris Rock across the face, but I feel like everybody makes mistakes, and I fucking love Will Smith, and I love Chris Rock too. So I don't think Will Smith's a cuck. Now, would I have allowed like my wife to go on all these shows, and it's not like, oh, you can't do this? I probably would have just called it quits. Like, I don't want you going on The View talking about open relationship, and like nobody fucking cares. I think that's the biggest thing for Jada Pinkett Smith. Like, we don't care that you were in an open relationship and you had sex with another guy. You know, I just, you got to keep that off the internet.
Well, yeah, and then they did a Red Table Talk interview, like expose tell-all.
Yeah, that was weird.
That's just like, I feel like that's a little too much of selling your soul for views and engagement.
I don't think they needed to, though. I think it was, maybe that was like therapy for them, but I think you got to handle that shit behind closed doors. Like, nobody cares enough about the problems that you have in your relationship to watch it unfold on television.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think Will Smith's a cuck. I think Will Smith's still a fucking man.
Well,
Will Smith would still be on like top 5 people to have a drink with for me.
I mean, I probably would also say yes to those drinks, but
you know what? TikTok got me.
Actually, no, I'm holding firm. I'm holding firm. I'm so off the Will Smith train.
Well, I feel like I might fucking like Will Smith more than I like you. So like, I don't know him, but I feel like that's an attack on like my boys.
Oh, rapper, actor, successful producer, hyper successful public figure.
What about him?
You'd like him more than me?
Oh yeah,
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. All right, we need you to put a little more energy in your voice, brother. Let's get some bass behind it.
Again?
Yeah, yeah. You gotta force it out, dude. You gotta force this motherfucker out. It's in there. You speak so quiet. I watched the Mark Twain award that they presented to Adam Sandler. That was fucking awesome for me as a kid. I mean, anybody in the 90s like grew up with, Chris Farley, David Spade, Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, all of these incredible movies with the same cast, Rob Schneider, Steve Buscemi. Did you see any of this?
No. What's the Mark Twain Award?
Mark Twain Award, he's like the godfather of literature, and I think one of the other people that they gave the Mark Twain Award to, what was the other actor? Very prolific male actor. Maybe do a quick Google search. Long story short of it, they had pretty much all of Adam Sandler's best friends that he's kept with him for all the movies that he's done since the 90s. And just commemorated his body of work and how profound and of an impact he's had on just modern day entertainment. And it was pretty incredible to see these guys just just reminisce about times past, the first time meeting Adam Sandler and their friendship. And somebody, like I said, that grew up with watching those guys, it was cool to hear just how much they love him, how much of an impact they had on their careers, their lives. You should, if you have any interest in what I'm saying, you guys should go watch it, because TikTok, even though it might be getting banned here soon, they did a great job of just sending me every single individual that went up on stage, so I didn't have to go sift through it on YouTube. Yeah. It was fucking awesome, dude.
Conan O'Brien, Ben Stiller, Steve Buscemi, Pete Davidson, Chris Rock. Everybody going up there and talking about Adam Sandler.
Oh wow, I didn't see Pete Davidson up there yet. I didn't see his. Conan O'Brien's was pretty electric. I'm telling you, man, it's a good watch.
What if you had to pick one Adam Sandler movie as your favorite, what would it be?
Man, I'm a sucker for. I feel like you could ask me this question, my answer would be different every single day.
Yeah,
I really have just a special place in my heart for The Wedding Singer. Man, I know that might not be top of the list for everybody, but The Wedding Singer is something about it, man. It just, you got to see Adam just, I don't know, show his range a little bit. Grow old with you. Yeah. I used to like fantasy, you know, and that's the joke I always make now is that I'm the bad guy from The Wedding Singer because I don't want to plan the wedding. And that was pretty much the crux of the story. Adam got close with Drew Barrymore because he helped her plan the wedding for the man that she was marrying, and they fell in love. It's pretty incredible movie. What about you?
Billy Madison.
Billy Madison is iconic.
Yeah.
They were actually talking about how Billy Madison came to be. They were like writing the movie over the fax machine, like back and forth to his college roommate. And it's wild to think that Adam, all these people that he met, like Chris Rock told this story about the fact that he was up on stage, or he got to the comedy club. He was out of town for a couple weeks, and at this place that he was performing, it takes like 2 years for a new comedian to get on stage. That's how, you know, competitive the space was and how incredible a venue this was. And Chris Rock goes away. Eddie Murphy had him come to LA to do a couple shows. He gets back. He walks into the comedy club and Adam Sandler's on stage. He's like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, how did he get on stage? How's he getting all this time? So he sat there and he watched him, and no matter how much he wanted to hate him, he just thought he was fucking hilarious. And then Chris Rock, after Adam Sandler's set is done, gets on stage, and Adam Sandler waits and watches his entire set. And then Chris Rock gets off stage. Adam Sandler's like, hey, do you want to come hang out at my dorm room? Because earlier he set up the story, and Chris said that there was only one white kid that asked him to hang out when he was in elementary school and high school. There's only 3 black kids in the entire high school. And he referenced the fact that this guy was Jewish. He loves the Jews. And then this second guy, Adam Sandler, this Jew, was just like, you want to be best friends for the rest of our lives?
Yeah.
Man, it's awesome. I don't want to spoil them, but you really should go watch it, man.
Did you watch what is it, Hustle? The latest movie he made, the basketball movie?
Hustle was phenomenal.
That movie was great.
Yeah.
But the guy's a genius.
When I was watching Hustle, I'm like, who the fuck is this basketball player? Like, they got to get this guy in the league. He actually looks pretty good. And then I realized after a quick Google search that he was in the NBA. And,
Juan Hernan-Gomez.
Yeah, I think he's still bouncing around. I'm not sure current day, but when I watched it, he was still bouncing around from a couple teams.
That's what also makes you realize, too, how when it comes to professional sports, I feel like basketball, of all things, has really the highest skill gap, because you see like Juan Hernan-Gomez play, or you will hear about like PJ Tucker hitting like 25 straight threes in practice, and this guy's like a role player, right? And then to see that level, like all those dudes, if they wanted to, could drop 50 in a game, but they're just not as good as the LeBrons, the Devin Bookers, and they just can't get shots. And it's like, you know, any person on an NBA team is nasty at basketball. If
you're on the bench and you don't have any playing time in the NBA, like, people think those players are dog shit.
Yeah.
If they went to any like LA Fitness or like a rec league, even against like a top D1 basketball player, they will bust their ass 1v1.
100%.
I mean, it's actually wild. I think you're absolutely right. I don't think people realize how talented players in the NBA actually are.
If you ever go to an NBA game and you watch them warm up, they just do not miss.
Yeah.
It's insane.
What was his name? What do they call it? I think it was like the Red Mom, Brian Scalabrine.
Yeah.
Or was it Scalabrine or Scalabrini?
Scalabrine, I think.
Yeah. They showed him playing some college player, or I think he was like a 5-star high school top 100 recruit. And he was like, he wanted a 1v1. And Brian was like, all right, hey, let's go. And just beat the living shit out of him.
Yeah.
Those videos are the best. Like, yeah, you're so right. People have no idea how talented professional basketball players are. I don't know if it's like a skill gap thing. I think when it comes to professional sports, no matter what sport you try to, what rabbit hole you go down, I think that's probably the same case. Like, the level of the disparity between talent of somebody who plays that sport professionally compared to somebody who doesn't, who's still really good. I think that'll be the case in most sports, but yeah, I see what you're trying to say.
Yeah. I also wanted to bring up, did you see John Wick yet?
I haven't seen John Wick yet. Haley's never seen John Wick, which I thought was first of all, ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous.
So we watched John Wick 1 over the weekend, and you know, that first scene, first 15, 20 minutes of the movie with the dog dying, she had no idea that dog was going to die. And brother, no matter how many times I watch that movie, I don't know if I'm just like I mean, I know I'm an emotional person, but that movie made me cry again. Like, movies just bring the tears out of me. And I don't think Haley realizes, I mean, she's certainly seen me cry before, but with movies, I'm like over there sobbing, just making sure that she can't see these tears falling down my face. They just get me, brother. I don't know what I think I'm just an emotional man.
I mean, Keanu Reeves, John Wick. It's not just about headshots. It's just an emotional journey.
Bro, can you fathom your wife dying and the next day a dog gets delivered, and now that dog is the spirit of your wife, and somebody comes in? Brother, you got to have the worst type of luck.
You got a duty.
You got a duty.
You got a responsibility.
You got to go out there and find that fucking dog. No, but
Adam Sandler writes John Wick Chapter 5.
I mean, it would be electric, to be honest with you. But
the big news, the big breaking news is 4 was supposed to be the last one, but opened up 141 million globally opening weekend, and John Wick 5 is officially back on the table at the studio.
I'm excited. I will say I'm excited because of the reviews I've seen for John Wick 4. Like, if I'm being honest, John Wick 2, by the second hour of the movie, I was a little bored. You know, I like shoot 'em up movies. I definitely appreciated them more when I was younger, just because, you know, 13 years old, you're watching the craziest shit you could ever imagine on a movie screen. It's awesome. But now I definitely need like more depth and character development, and I just need a couple more things for the right recipe of a movie. So John Wick 2 and 3 just got a little boring for me. I don't even really remember John Wick 3. I'm wondering if I even saw it. I need to go rewatch it. But the point is, I was skeptical of sequels after seeing John Wick 2. But I've heard John Wick 4 is, some people are saying it's one of the best action movies of all time, which is wild to think that's coming off the heels of Top Gun Maverick, which people have said that's probably one of the best action movies of all time.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you saw it, right?
John Wick?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it yet?
I'm going to see it tonight.
Okay, yeah. I'm glad that you haven't seen it, because I feel like spoilers would just seep out of you somehow. But
yes,
over thousands of reviews, and it's like 95%, and it's holding strong. So it's got to be really good.
I'm excited. Well, I have a few things, but this is more of an aside. We've talked so much about CS already in the last few episodes, but I bought my first crates yesterday. Got into the skin market game yesterday.
Well, we call them cases around here.
Cases.
You bought some cases?
Yeah.
But you've never played Counter-Strike.
No, I had 17 minutes on my account when I went in.
And you just...
I bought like $100 worth of cases immediately.
That's financially responsible, dude. I love that out of you.
It's so fun.
Well, you got to open the keys. You got to buy the keys as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The cases are the cheaper part.
Yeah.
The keys are where the expenses come in.
My question is, how are they getting away with this?
Getting away with what?
Just like 14-year-olds buying cases.
Don't ask no questions, dude. We don't want to. We don't want to mess with the recipe.
No, we don't. I mean, it is fun. I mean, like, we were talking about stream. Did you used to stream like just opening cases?
Oh yeah,
yeah. That would be insane.
Do you want me? I can blow your mind right now, because when they made the announcements for CS2, I was like, oh fuck, dude, I got to go back and look at my inventory to see what I got in there, because they're obviously making a ton of, graphic upgrades, and they said that the light interaction will actually make your skins look pop even more saturation, more color tones. It's gonna be phenomenal. I'm like, oh wait, I got to see what I got still in the bag.
Yeah.
So I went actually yesterday and looked at my trade history from when I was working with these websites, and man, I had a crazy inventory, and I think I got bored. I actually looked at the dates. This was like 2018, so this is a year into 100 Thieves. I think because all these websites dried up and there's a lot more regulation, CSGO Lotto and CSGO Wild, all the major websites really got shut down. But you weren't able to stream it anymore. I don't remember the exact order of operations. Long story short, I think I would just I became manic and was just betting all my skins. So the inventory is not what it used to be, but I still got like one really, really good like karambit fade knife. It's like a crimson web stat track, factory new. Like the float number is very rare. So I got one really, really good knife.
How much is it worth?
Probably like $1,500, 2,000. But I used to have. I mean, I'll just show you.
Okay.
Your mind will be blown the amount of knives that I used to gamble because they'd give them to me for free.
Yeah.
I never had any like financial upside on the websites. There was like a pivotal moment. It was CSGO Lotto. It's actually cool that I can tell the story now if I haven't already. But T. Martin Syndicate and I think one other person was part of CSGO Lotto. And when I retired from Advanced Warfare, I started playing H1Z1 and Counter-Strike. Those were my two games that I played keyboard, mouse. I mean, I played a little StarCraft way back in the day when I was like a kid, but I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, so I don't really count it. So I was playing H1Z1 and Counter-Strike, and this is right when Counter-Strike had its like awakening, I would say, on Twitch, and everybody started doing the gambling. But they wanted me to come in on CSGO Lotto, and they wanted me to be a co-owner. So they were going to give me 10%. They weren't going to give me any equity, I don't believe, in the website, which at that time I didn't really give a fuck about. They were going to give me unlimited skins to gamble with, and then they were going to give me 10% of the daily earnings of the website. And, you know, back then, I probably would have been making, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 grand a day. I mean, these websites were bringing in hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's just what they told me. I think they were being honest. I trusted them back at that era. I mean, it's still kind of, I don't really talk to them too much anymore, but I brought it to my lawyer who doesn't really have any experience in gaming. We don't work together anymore, but he was like, listen, I don't know enough about this to give you great advice, but I think this is a bad idea. Like, as your lawyer, I have a duty to let you know that I think it would be a mistake for you to sign this contract because I don't know what the ramifications will be in the future. So I decide not to sign it, take his advice. And a couple months later, the entire rug got pulled out from underneath the SEC it was either SEC or the FCC. Wait, the Federal Trade Commission, FTC. I think it was FTC, not the SEC. The FTC, I think, came down on all of these guys and they had to go to court. They never got in any trouble. But yes, I was very involved. I almost could have got caught up and the reputation would have taken a hit, but decided not to do it. But the skin gambling days were a lot of fun. I mean, probably not great for the young kids watching. I think that sort of set a lot of people up for failure. So I do feel a little guilty about that, but I don't know, man. At that time, you know, you're not thinking about, like, I never consider myself to be a role model, so I was just doing what I thought was fun, and everybody else was doing it. You know, I'm not saying like, oh, they jump off a cliff, you're gonna do it too, you know, like your parents, but yeah, you missed some good times.
Yeah, damn. Well, you got any extra knives?
I don't have any extra knives.
You sure?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, if you do, you know, just
why don't you play the game before you just have a crippling case opening addiction?
I'm a businessman, you know. I'm not some real business opportunity in the CSGO skin market.
Did you open up any of those cases?
Oh yeah, I mean they're all fucking dog shit, but
okay, so
bunch of 30-cent skins.
Business is booming, you would say. Then
yeah, we're gonna hit rock bottom at some point, you know. That's how you bounce back up. Again,
Counter-Strike, very fun, but when I watch these streams, I'm just watching these guys play Dust 2, and I'm like, dude, I need something else, man.
Yeah.
I truly need something else to like actually be motivated to play this game because there's just so much knowledge that these players have with smokes and flashes, and they have played. When people say it takes 10,000 hours to be an expert, the amount of people that have put 10,000 hours into Counter-Strike is unfathomable. I just feel like I'm so far behind. They need to add new maps. They need to add the ranking system, get it to a place where I can actually play. I know that they're working on anti-cheat. Somebody did some data mining. So I'm optimistic, but there just hasn't been enough to get me to go play it again.
Yeah, I agree. Even for myself too, like diving into the game first, I'm like, okay, these people. Actually, no one I play with will be having 10,000 hours on the game, but just map knowledge, all of that. So we'll see. I'm definitely going to try CS2, but we got that. I wanted to bring up, did you see the shoes that Twitch sent Cenat for breaking the streamer or the sub record?
Oh, brother. Yeah. Oh, brother. That's actually a good call out.
Yeah.
Those shoes were hideous.
They were so bad.
I mean, they were awful. It
was.
It's tough for me because I know exactly what was running through somebody's head when they were, for whoever at Twitch whose idea it was to send them.
Mm-hmm.
They probably thought they were really cool. Like the sentiment behind it, obviously very tone deaf.
Yeah.
Considering all the conversation about Kai deserves like a bigger contract. They need to, he's already the king of Twitch. They need to, pay him like the king.
Yeah.
Dude, heavy lays the crown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the shoes just unbelievably tone deaf. Yeah. But if I'm like a coordinator or just on the partnerships team at Twitch, it's my job 9 to 5, and I'm thinking, oh, sneakers, we'll send a nice gift. It'll be thoughtful. They chose like the Air Force One highs. Like I've never seen anybody. I don't know if that's the actual silhouette of the shoe, but yeah. I mean, awful. Like graffiti, spray paint, customized sneakers. I mean, I get what was going through their head. They probably thought they were doing a good thing. Just terribly tone deaf and a disaster.
Yeah, now that you say that, I feel bad for whoever, coordinator, whoever is like, oh yeah, let's put these shoes together and send them. But
heart was in the right place.
Yeah, heart in the right place. But a box of shoes with like a note taped to the inside of the box.
Yeah, man, and that's why a lot of these conversations around creators and the platforms they work with and the publishers and whoever's involved, between the relationship between the creator and the entity that they're involved with, it's so easy to criticize the things that they do and the decisions they make and how they treat the creator. But again, I think a common theme of these episodes have been putting ourselves in the shoes of the people that are actually making those decisions. You would think that the CEO or the top level executives at Twitch would be unbelievably hands-on with Kai and on the phone with his management and agency, and maybe they are, and we don't know. But again, if you're a coordinator or just, a mid-level employee at Twitch, heart was in the right place, but the weight behind this conversation in this moment right now on that website and all of the problems and missteps that they've had with communication and all of the amenities and fixins that come with the relationship between Twitch and the creators, like just the worst thing that they could have ever done.
Yeah.
And the sneakers didn't look good either, but they, again, probably thought they were so cool.
Maybe like a plaque,
Well, it is tough when you see like YouTube giving away diamond play buttons.
Yeah.
And they've had like this play button program for the last like 10 years.
Yeah.
And then this guy brought in the most revenue from a creator, which at the end of the day, when you're probably thinking about top line like revenue for Twitch, what the creators bring in from a sub split perspective, that's not where they're making their cash. Like they're making it through advertisement and all the other things that they're doing on Twitch. So people look at it as like, oh, he brought in the most money for Twitch ever in 1 month. I mean, that's probably nowhere near where the priorities are, which kind of makes the relationship between creators and the sub split kind of that, I don't know, it's a little backwards, I would say, in terms of the community's perception of split and sub revenue compared to what Twitch actually needs to do to make more money. But nightmare fuel.
Yeah. Speaking of streaming, though, you are going to be co-streaming Sentinels versus 100T this weekend with Tarek.
Yes, sir. This Saturday. First match of the official franchise league. We're playing out of the studio in LA. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I told Tarek, I'm like, I'm gonna watch Cryocels play Omen and be ready to kill myself on stage.
In game.
Oh yeah, in game.
In game.
And then Tarek replies like, "Yeah, that's why we're picking Icebox." Because that's where we saw Cryo really playing Omen, which he actually played really well. And that's not a shot at our coaching staff by any means. I love our coaches. Moneyball Mike's HD is the fucking man, and they certainly know the game and the meta and what we need to do to win far better than I do. I just, as a fan more than anything, the takeaways that I had from watching us in Brazil, I'm like, fuck, we signed Cryocells, one of the best performers on Jet in the history so far, and it's like 2.5, getting close to 3-year history of Valorant, and I'm seeing him play Omen on every map. I watched him play like Jet one time, and he was playing Raze on a bunch of different maps. Yeah, and that's the tough part. It's like the community can sit here, me included, and say, "Oh, well, why did the European teams and the other international teams, they so clearly had a different read on the meta? We saw people in comfort picks playing on Jet, and our comp was just wildly different. There is no way in shape or form that our players and our coaches and even the other North American teams show up to this Brazil or this event in Brazil and were like shooting themselves in the foot by playing a different comp. They truly believe that was the comp that would help them win. And you got to remember too, they're practicing against other North American teams, so they're sort of in a bubble. And they're kicking the living shit out of these other North American teams with the comps they're running. And then it turns out the international teams were just in a different world. Yeah. So I would really love to see Cryo play Jet. I'd really love to see on certain maps Asuna getting back to Raze. Not saying that Cryo can't do it. I've just seen, I don't know, if you compare Brazil to past performance of Asuna on Raze, I would say that Asuna looks a little bit more comfortable. And when you have two players who have both played duelists, like the main duelist for their team, it is weird still for me to see Asuna playing more of a support play style, and especially the agents they're playing. So again, I'm not knocking the decisions our coaches made. I think the logic and the rationale behind the decisions they made make a lot of sense, but the fan of me would love to see Crowd just run a wild on Jet.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going to happen. I mean, I obviously don't want to lose to Sentinels, but it's going to be a great match for the kickoff of the league in general. Yeah, I would say that, beyond maybe like Cloud9, two of the most popular teams to date in North America. Yeah. So it's going to be electric, dude. But I have no idea what to expect out of Sentinels, because if they would have beat Fnatic in Brazil, we would have played them instead. Yeah. And either way, that match would have been tough no matter who we played. But people said that Sentinels actually looked really good prior to Brazil. So it's going to be a fucking... we're going to grind through this match and hopefully come out with a win.
On stage, too. Been waiting 2 years now for Valorant on stage. At least for us to go see in person.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, we could have gone to Brazil, but that was a weird conversation. Like, Riot, it was certainly, I think, bummed that we didn't go. Just because they wanted to have all the owners together and stuff. And I'm like, man, this time that we're experiencing in esports, especially with what we're doing with Juvie and High Ground and Project X, I'm like, guys, I would love to support the league. I don't think anything that we said in our application process was untrue. We are so committed to the success of Valorant, but this is basically a showcase event. And if we spend a couple days traveling to Brazil, get to the event, and you lose one best of 3, we're hopping back on a plane. That's a long flight. Yeah. We've got a lot of things happening under the hood here at 100 Thieves. So I just can't, especially someone who doesn't like to travel to begin with, I cannot justify going to Brazil. Not that I didn't have faith in our team being able to win, just the context of the event. Yeah. This doesn't make sense for us to lift everything up out of our weekly routine and all the things that we're working on to just go here for a photo opportunity. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. They want to get all the owners together and really kick it off. I get it. If I'm working at Riot, I want every team there. But everybody's got different priorities. And our lack of, I don't know, me and John or Jacob, for that matter, going to Brazil, I want to be clear, like, with Riot in general, I want to support the league. I'm really excited about it. Just could not justify the trip.
Yeah. Well, you're leaning in, doing this co-streaming.
Yeah, I would love to do more things like this. Yeah. I mean, even with like Call of Duty, like the entire plan, like a year and a half, 2 years ago, when I did not re-sign my partnership program contract with Twitch, the plan was to co-stream CDL matches when it was exclusive to YouTube. But co-stream is just tough for me, man. Like these watch parties are really difficult because I want to be entertaining and I want to, you know, be the shepherd for 100 Thieves fans and live vicariously through me as I watch the matches. And like conceptually, I think it's a great idea, but every match we play, I feel like there's so much on the line, not for the business, but just my overall competitive nature. So I just can't be the entertainer that I want to be, because when we lose a round, it hurts. Like I'm mad, I'm upset. And there's just certain sides of my competitive nature that I don't want to share with the community. So it's a bad business decision for me not to be doing watch parties on the weekends for these matches. But for my personal mental health, that part is not healthy for me.
Yeah.
And it's like separation of church and state. Like my entire life is 100 Thieves. And I that's the other component I wish people could understand better. I need some time away to like have my phone off and not think about 100 Thieves.
Yeah.
Because even now I feel like a lot of the things that I was driving home yesterday thinking about the fact that we've now launched Juvie. We've had like 2 apparel, well, really with 2023, we've had like 4 apparel drops. We've had some really big moments that have happened in the last 6 months of 100 Thieves. I haven't uploaded a YouTube video to my main channel in 6 months. And I'm trying to like sit there and figure out like, why is that, man? Like why, when my entire DNA was like every fiber of my being, when I would wake up in the morning, it's like, what am I uploading to YouTube today? And when I talk about separation of church and state and actually having like a true weekend, like a Saturday and Sunday, not to hopefully not think about 100 Thieves and the business, I just don't have a lot of time to be creative and feel creative, because like my weeks fill up so quickly when I get in on Mondays of like, all right, here are the priorities for the week. These are the things that we need to do. These are the meetings that we have. Here are the things and moments that we need to, you know, promote and talk about on social. And a lot of these things I'm, you know, asked to do and told to do. And, you know, we've talked about the psychology of like, oh, it needs to be my idea for me to be really excited about it and wake up with that being the #1 priority for me to go and execute that day. And I just feel like I'm asleep at the wheel, the fact that I haven't shared any of these big moments for the business with my audience. But at the same time, I just don't feel like I have enough time to be by myself and let my mind wander down these rabbit holes, and those rabbit holes would lead to me being productive and being creative.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like that can sound pretty soft, you know, like, motherfucker, you know, your life is on the line, let's go. But creative, the fluidity of creativity, I think it's not something that's easy to articulate. Like, I think those that are creative, and I've certainly seen it here at 100 Thieves with some of my favorite people that I've worked with who are, you know, the definition of creatives. They're not the best when it comes to like timelines and staying on task and being like programmatic when it comes to the work that they do. And that can be frustrating for those at this company whose jobs don't rely on being creative. You know, their workload is pretty set in stone when they come in. They know what they need to do, and it's really a fight against time to get those things done. But when you're working in a field that requires creativity, it's sort of hard to explain what you need and when that lightning bolt is going to strike.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to justify the lack of input and the lack of like actually being in the trenches and working, but I feel like the human mind needs time to think and get excited about things and let the connective tissues start, you know, making those connections, and you know, the through point and the result will be like a creative experience.
We've talked about it too. We're kind of similar in that sense, where we're kind of like horses with blinders on, and it's the same with how you go through your phases of like photography and golf, then create like content creation, where it's like, yeah, seeing it firsthand with the few videos we have done and like your setup and shit like that. It's like the phone is away, no distractions. You gotta just bathe in it for an entire day. And the reality for you being the CEO as well, like you got a million other things going on. So
yeah, that's it. It really is a tough dynamic. I beat myself up over it, but at the same time, I think I don't know. Haley does a good job of keeping me grounded, and I don't know. I just feel guilty when there's a lack of productivity for me, but I just can't explain it any better than what I just tried to, and I'll watch it back and see if it makes sense, but I'm just not somebody that can like, be under the, when I'm under the gun, there can be times where like that's when my best work is done, but more times than not, the things that I'm proudest of are the things that I've thought about for weeks. And then I finally get that last push of like, okay, these are the things that I need to do to get this done. And as long as nothing else is on my schedule and it's the only thing I can think about, I will get it done and it will be great. Yeah. But it's just not an easy recipe to have at all times with the business, because there's always something new popping up, and there's always something that needs my attention. So finding that balance, I think, has been the one thing that I've wrestled with the most in the 6 years here at 100 Thieves, and got to get back on this YouTube grind in some capacity or another. You know, we've talked about maybe like getting a video out once a week, but even then, that's not. It's nice to say those things, and if you set yourself up with expectations, like there was a time when, you know, the board would be very not intrusive, but they want to know what I'm doing, and I'm like, all right, well, I think I can get out, you know, 8 to 12 videos a month. Like when 100 Thieves first started, I really believe that. But when I'm in the office 9 to 5 and everything we're working on is in anticipation for an announcement, you know, weeks and weeks and months of work for this announcement, I can't talk about this on my YouTube channel. Yeah. I don't want to get into all that, but long story short, just therapy session out loud. There's just too many things that have happened in the last 6 months for those things not to be displayed and shared with the community that I built for even before 100 Thieves, 10 years before 100 Thieves, building that channel. It's a fucking shame that I haven't, you know, gotten my ducks in a row and gotten videos uploaded to YouTube. Yeah. Even for somebody like John, you know, back in the day, I would record a video. I'd spend like a couple days making a video, and he would have like a cameo in it. And it'd be like Friday. He's like, yo, I thought that video was going up on Wednesday. Well, first of all, I'm annoyed that somebody's on my ass about getting this video up. Not because it's John and our relationship, just because I've never had somebody standing over my shoulder like, yo, what's going on here? My YouTube channel has always been my domain, and I know what works for my YouTube channel. You know, it was kind of like I don't know, a moment of not vindication, but I'm just so happy that somebody else is talking about this out loud. Where Mr. Beast will spend, when we talked about this, Mr. Beast, he could spend millions of dollars on a YouTube video. If he watches it by the end of it, he doesn't like it, he's not uploading it. Yeah. I mean, he obviously, I'm not in a position to do that, but there have been so many times throughout the history of 100 Thieves where I've made a video and I don't fucking like it, and I don't think it's good enough, so I won't upload it. Yeah. And it's not because I can't follow through with something, it's just because there's no way for me to rectify the things that are wrong with this video to get it uploaded. So I don't know, man. I think I just nitpick my own work too much, but that's another conversation for another day. Well,
that's part of the reason why you are who you are, though. And content creators in general, I would imagine, you can't just upload shit and it's going to do well. Like, you got to put out good content.
Yeah, I know. But then I always have that problem where I feel like I'm too self-aware, because like I'll just feel pressure about what the other people around me are thinking. Like, oh, he's in his head, and he's not making the right decisions, and then that slows me down. It's like I just need to have more conviction in what I know and who I am and how I carry myself and how I get work done. And even if somebody thinks that's stupid, or like thinks that I'm not doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing to get my job done, or the things that I'm working on, I can't let what I think other people are thinking about affect the level of conviction I have around my work and my work process. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Makes sense.
All right.
Fuck
yeah, baby. What the fuck's going on, Joe?
What is going on? fuck.
You went to New York. You hate New York.
Oh yeah, I don't hate. Well, I'm not sold on New York, at least at my current level of income. New York would be fucking sick if I was loaded and like had a driver, you know, going around the city, living in a nice place. But I went this past weekend. I went visited a bunch of friends. My buddy threw like a charity gala, just an excuse for everybody to get out there, raise some money for cancer research. But I mean, these guys are paying like $3-4 grand a month in rent, and they're living in shoe boxes.
Yeah, like a closet.
Yeah,
a cupboard under the stairs, like Harry Potter.
I mean, like these places. Four of my buddies lived, you know, Lower East Side, great location, but the place was a shithole. And I am a person that I need my personal space to be as nice as it can be because I'm in it a lot.
Yeah,
whether it's playing video games or doing nothing. I just like to be home.
New York can certainly be a magical place.
Yeah.
But I feel like it really depends on what stage of your life you're in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's all those variables
100%.
that you talked about, your level of income, the age that you're at, the amount of friends that you have, where your career is. I've been in New York, you know, I can't even, over 10, 15, 20. I've been in New York quite a bit. Yeah. I haven't spent like meaningful time there more than a week, but I've just never really understood the allure just because growing up, I mean, you grew up in Michigan, I grew up in Chicago. I think we both grew up outside the city, in the suburbs.
100%.
And so now that I'm getting married and I'm like 30 and I'm about to start a family, even when I was in my mid-20s, when it's like, I feel like that's like the prime time era of somebody's life where they're like just dying to get to New York. Yeah. Like I, even now in LA, have a lot of friends who are moving to New York as we speak. And they're so optimistic and they're so excited. I've just never shared that sentiment around New York. You're living on top of each other. You know, if you're a very social person, I'm sure it's probably like a playground for an adult. You know, you've got the world at your fingertips and the city's so alive. Separation of church and state, dude. I need a nice quiet place to come home to where I feel like I'm in my own space.
Yeah, and I'm not like an outdoors guy at all. Like out here, I always tell people like I don't ski, I don't snowboard, I don't surf, I don't like to go on hikes, I don't like the beach. Like I don't all of that.
Retweet, dude. Retweet.
Yeah, I don't need any of that.
Truth.
I don't need any of that. But like living in or being in New York, every time I'm there, I mean, number one, I'm just exhausted by the time I leave because you just don't sleep. But number two, I feel like there's no escape, especially in the summers. It's so hot and it's just claustrophobic almost. But part of that, going back to what you were just saying, I hate to admit it, but I also feel as though I'm getting to the point in my life where I'm the allure of like going to New York and everybody's like, oh, you're never in your apartment anyways. You're always going out doing things. Like 3-4 years ago, that would be awesome. But, you know, I got a stable relationship, getting settled into work, like more focused on work more than anything at this point now. So versus going out. So I feel like I kind of miss the New York wave a little bit at this point, but fun place.
Yeah. I just think it could be exhausting.
It's exhausting.
I always wonder, it's like, okay, if I'm on the couch from like 7 p.m. to 10:30 before we go to bed every single night, that is truly like, I'm going to have that in my vows when I talk to Haley. Like I could have the worst day of my life. I mean, I could be dealing with the most stress that I've ever had on my shoulders. But as long as I'm coming home to Gary Murph, our dogs, and Haley's on the couch, that is, I can deal with anything if I know I'm coming home to that. And, you know, I always kind of press myself. I'm like, well, that could feel monotonous. Like if you have a year where you do that, there's not going to be many nights that you remember that you can pick out unless, you know, you watched a great show or there was you shared a laugh between each other. But, you know,
chuckle.
That time in your life when you're, I don't know, a year after spending that year on the couch, you could probably look back and like, oh, fuck, did I just waste like a ton of time? Was that not a great use of the short time that I have on this earth? I don't fucking care, dude. Like, I just want to be comfortable and I want to be happy and I want to be stress-free. So you could say that, oh, you're losing out on so many experiences in life, but I just, the best experience for me every single day living in the moment is to feel no stress, be carefree, and be in my bubble.
Yeah.
So I don't think that either of us are qualified to like weigh the benefits of like living in New York or LA.
Yeah.
But I don't think it invalidates how we feel. Like maybe if we were forced to spend a month in New York, we could fall in love with it the same way. You know, it's like Casey Neistat went from New York to LA, and the entire time, I mean, quite literally the entire time he spent in LA, he just complained.
Yeah.
He hated California and just wanted to get back to New York. So there's certainly something that we're missing, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah. Like when we went for the Tear Juvie shoot that weekend, that was awesome.
Yeah.
I had a great time. I was buzzing off New York.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get back, but you know, I'm built for comfort. I'll be the first one to tell you, you know.
Built for comfort.
Yeah, BFC. I like my couch. Talk about life experiences. I love the experience of sitting in a dark room on my couch alone, watching something.
100%,
playing some
dude.
Games.
I mean, if you work in an industry where you got to be in the office, like if you worked in finance, I'm sure New York is fucking lit. You know, you're just going out, having dinner, shaking and baking, making connections. It's probably a magical place. I mean, Jen, our chief content officer who's in here now, she worked at Barstool, lived in New York for quite some time. I mean, that would probably be the best like temperature check on. Yeah, I think she's been in LA now for almost a year, if not a year. And I don't know, Jen, what do you think? Do you think we're missing out on New York?
I think New York's great in your 20s.
New York's great in your 20s. I think that's kind of early 30s, 20s. I wonder what it's like for people raising kids in New York, in the city. Pretty brutal.
Unless you're loaded.
Unless you're loaded.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you got to be a rich fuck to raise kids in New York, like in Manhattan.
Yeah.
The boroughs don't make any sense to me either. Like when somebody made a map of like, okay, if LA was New York and here are the boroughs, then it started to make sense. Every time I go to New York, I'm just fucking lost. I'm like, dude, I've been here enough to where I should know where I'm at. But you know, it's a great example. Shibby, Rich, one of my best friends. We've talked about him. You guys have heard of him. You guys see him in the golf videos. He lived in New York. He worked at Major League Gaming. He lived in the city for years. He's like, yeah, dude, New York's great, but for this period of my life, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to be there. So, I don't know. We'll have to bring on, if anybody's interested, we'll have to bring on a New York seasoned veteran and see like what we're missing out on.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I actually see a lot of people that grew up in New York or went to college in New York that are actually moving to LA. Like, yeah, I just had to try something different. The grass is always greener.
Yeah, it really is.
But people need to experience things for themselves. You could preach to somebody all day about the decision they're about to make, and maybe sometimes they'll listen, but more times than not, when I give advice to somebody that asks, I tell them and I preface it like, look, I know this could fall on deaf ears because more times like a man and women, it doesn't matter. A person needs to figure some shit out on their own. And the grass is always greener. The human mind always wants more, and they always think that will probably be better than what I'm experiencing now. So you just got to try it. If you have the means to do it, fuck it. You're young. Give it a couple years and see if it works. And if not, what's the worst that could happen?
Any city for that matter, too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, other than that, went to New York. We got a lot of travel coming up. So looking forward to just playing some Valorant this weekend and trying to get out of fucking silver and gold, dude. It is.
So you're back on Valorant.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Other thing, too. Yesterday, after we opened up all those cases on CS, I'm just fucking around in a death match, like having never played CS before. And I just fucking whiff so hard that I hear, oh, good shot. And I look behind me, it's just Stellar and the entire Valorant team. Like right behind me. They're like, oh God. Like, you guys didn't see this. Get out of here.
You were playing Counter-Strike here at the office?
Yeah, it was like 6:30.
Oh,
yesterday.
turn up.
Yeah. I was procrastinating on putting this list together and opening some cases. So we were watching Vinny, actually, JHB and I. And just mid-game, the kid was just ripped through probably 75 cases, like in a span of 10 minutes while playing.
I'm dude, you give. I mean, this guy Vinny's, been stacking some paper. That man has probably just opened up cases 24/7.
Oh, dude, I love it. I love to see just any fiend behavior in regards to.
Dude, I've opened a lot of
spending.
cases in my life. I've never unboxed a knife once.
So the ones you got were just ones gifted to you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Dude, that's insane. That JHB and Tanner here too are telling me, I don't know who it was, but one of them too has never unboxed a knife either, and they
The odds aren't
thousands
great.
of hours.
It's tough, man.
That's insane.
You're always just chasing that high, and you know, I don't know if I'll get back into cases, but
would be fun.
I want to play Counter-Strike. I just don't have a reason to right now. And like, I really want to hit Radiant one day in Valorant, but I just don't have the time to play it. I don't even open up Valorant anymore because I just know that if I catch that bug, it's going to be a problem.
It's nice. It's nice for sure.
That's my biggest, dude. That's the biggest issue is that I just get excited about. It's the only thing I can think about, and anything that deters me away from doing that thing, I just have resentment towards it. So I just have to avoid letting myself get addicted to something. Like right now, that's golf.
Yeah,
I'm like, dude, I need to wake up. I need to get out of the office at like 2 o'clock, go play like a Twilight round by myself, bring this big fucking camcorder out and just record something. My swing feels a lot better. I'm hitting the ball really, really well right now, and I just want to. I can justify playing golf by going and recording it. I just need to go do it because all I can think about is golf right now.
Yeah.
Sometimes I love and hate my brain. It's so bizarre that my brain just gets dialed in on these things, and there is nothing, and I mean nothing, until I lose interest in it. Barring like get really busy with work or something else pops up. Brother, it's crazy. I know there's other people like that, so I'm not trying to sound like I'm the only one experiencing that, but I just cannot reiterate enough. Like when the first thought in my head when I wake up is golf. It's the last thing. I hate it. I
married to the game,
brother. I love and hate it so much, man.
Yeah,
it's almost like this. Like I'm chemically addicted to these things when they happen. Fuck.
Well, it's nice to be passionate.
Crazy.
It's nice
bro.
to be passionate about something.
No,
though,
it's not. Yeah. I mean,
maybe you're a little too passionate.
It was
actually.
fine when I was a creator full time because
Yeah.
I can just go do that, and that's how I would make it justified. I'd go make a video about it. But now I'm like, dude, I really got to try to win this battle in my head and like fucking just suppress these fucking urges. Thank God I'm not like a serial killer, dude. I would be
probably a pretty good one.
Yeah, I think I would, but I don't like to hurt small animals. And
no, you're soft, man.
What else did you write down?
How
long have we been going for? 1 hour? Are we doing 2 episodes today?
Jeez, I mean, if you want.
I saw the calendar invite was 8 to 10. I don't know if we have enough to talk about. Depends what else you have on this list. What else is happening?
I mean, I don't have a ton, just because, like last episode we filmed was last Thursday, but
yeah, I'm bummed because I really do enjoy recording these, but I don't want to force ourselves to do an episode if we don't have enough to talk about and be bummed after the fact and think it was like an okay episode.
Yeah, well, I figured we'd go for like an hour 30 today, so
Jesus, okay,
we got some time.
So anything else happening in like the Twitch universe? We got Kai with the sneakers.
Disguised Toast. He announced his Valorant Game Changers female
I saw
roster.
that briefly yesterday. What's the drama behind that? Why were people upset? It was because they had creators on the team, or
yeah, people were upset because he had basically reached out to like source, applications or whatever for up and coming like competitive female Valorant players, but given the turnaround and the timeline for him, he was like, I don't feel comfortable spending $300 jumping into this. I just didn't give myself enough time to actually vet and go through this process appropriately. But I still want to like put eyes on the space and put a team together and generate more viewership around competitive Valorant and, the tier 2 aspect of it and game changers and all of that. And so he was basically getting a bunch of heat because instead of going through his process and fielding a competitive team with only competitive Valorant female players or athletes, I guess you could say, he just went the route of streamers.
Gotcha.
So there's Quarter Jade, Kaide, Sidion, Truly, Tenzin, and then Tupperware, who I think is a competitive Valorant player and IGL for them. But
fun to watch.
Yeah, regardless, they're streaming their scrims and all of that. I think no matter what, of course, people are going to hate regardless, but I think just more eyes on competitive esports is fantastic. So no matter what audience it's coming from.
Yeah, look, man, that team hops in the server, plays against another all-female team.
Yeah.
I think that's only better for those players and women in competitive Valorant that are trying to be successful. I get it from both sides of the fence. I don't on each side of the fence. I don't think that's big a deal, that big of a deal.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where people can nitpick, and anything that you do on the internet, people can find a way to be upset about it.
Yeah.
I think both sides of the coin for that conversation. I think their feelings are true, and you can have validation behind those feelings. But I just don't think this is like that big of a deal.
Yeah. Also in the Valorant realm, Cloud9 announced their 2 new players yesterday. Jake with 2 E's, collegiate Valorant player, so he got picked up from the college scene, and then Rooney, former Sonics player, who will likely take up the IGL mantle on the team.
So I've certainly not been on social as much as I normally would like to be in the last couple weeks, just because we've been busy. What came to light with Ye and Vanity's departure from Cloud9? Did they ever come out and say why that happened?
So Cloud9 released a statement. Basically, it was, what's his name, Jack, the CEO?
Yeah.
Him and their head coach came out saying, talk about like team fit, and things just weren't working, and they thought it was the best way forward was to, part with Vanities and Ye. And that was pretty much it. All the comments were flaming C9, being like, just say you can't afford Ye.
Yeah,
like,
because that's what my assumption has been.
Yeah, exactly. So
they bought Ye from Optic and Envy.
Yeah.
I know I've heard rumors of what they paid for the buyout. It definitely wasn't cheap.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that Ye's contract, depending on how well his manager and agent negotiated that, the salary is probably pretty expensive.
Pretty hefty.
I mean,
yeah.
he was like the number one free agent, well, not free agent, but number one prospect for every team and who they wanted to sign. Nobody would say no to Ye.
Yeah, I mean, guy was the best player in the world during free agency.
Yeah, but obviously now there's like coming to light all these budget constraints. I mean, we've talked about it.
Yeah.
Things certainly aren't cheap, and player salaries need to come down for teams to afford or make it make sense.
Yeah. In their video, they were really just alluding to team comps and changing of the meta from Chamber and all this stuff, and it really just, it came off like a bunch of bullshit and them being like disingenuine. But
so who is Ye playing for?
Nobody right now. Still free agent.
Wow. The whole thing just strikes me as very bizarre.
Yeah.
Because if it was a budget issue, I would imagine that unless Ye truly wasn't working on this team and the other 3 players did not want to play with him, that's one thing. Then this entire conversation is irrelevant. But to me, it's like, okay, we have probably the best Valorant North American player on our team. They had to have had a conversation with him and his representation. Like, listen, we want you here. We can't afford this salary. Do you want to renegotiate in good faith, stay on the team and work through this with us? If you don't, totally fine. You can go on your way. We'll let you go free of charge. But if not, let's try to make this work. I wonder if that conversation happened.
I don't know. I mean, I just think it's interesting to, when you're not performing well as a team and you decide to shake up the roster, you drop your best player. So, I mean, it could have been super toxic, but
it could be.
I haven't heard anything like that around
like
before,
we were saying, it could be a role issue too. I mean, you've got Zeppa, who's been their duelist. Chamber's certainly not in the meta anymore.
Yeah,
but you're telling me that Ye, I mean, you could. If push came to shove, you could find a way to make Ye work on any roster.
Yeah.
In any region, on any role.
I think too, like, even if it was a role issue and like coupled with the fact that he is super expensive, again, don't know the details, but say he's super expensive and you're like, okay, the roles aren't working. Let's just go our separate ways, rebuild, start from scratch. That's fine. But I just wish they would have said that,
Why is he not on another team though right now? I got to be missing something. I have to be missing something. Why is Ye not on a starting roster in North? Is that by his own doing? Does he not want to play on another team until the right opportunity comes along?
I don't know. I feel like too with teams, the season is just starting, and everybody went through such a process with the applications and putting their teams together, and all of the talent kind of bubbling back up to the top with the aggregation of the teams being in the league or that were making it through. I don't know. I feel like teams probably just feel their rosters are solid as is, and they're not ready to just trade their duelist for Ye before they even get out of the gate. But
yeah, there's got to be something we're missing here. I get what you're saying, but at the same time, it's like in Call of Duty terms, if Simp was available right now, every single team in the league would be making a change to try to get him on their team. Yeah. So if something doesn't seem right, normally it's not right. Yeah. Or what's the best way to articulate
if
it?
It looks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, it must be a duck.
Well, I think the phrase that I want to use, like, if something's too good to be true, it normally is. Yeah. I don't think that fits exactly here, but I just think that there's something more here that doesn't meet the eye. Like, Ye should be on a team right now. But maybe it's as simple as that. Nobody wants to disrupt the team and the equation that they've put together. I don't know. Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck. Like, Vanity's going to play for, like, Shopify Rebellions. I don't even know who's on that team. I wonder if these kids that they brought up from college are any good. Dude, I don't know. I don't know enough about.
I'm curious. I am very curious about Jake specifically, though, with him coming from, like, the college scene. Because I feel like college esports are kind of whatever right now, because so many kids are in their prime when they're like 18 to 22. Like, Bang was in high school when we signed him, obviously skipping the whole college route. So I'm very curious, because a healthy college, like, funneling system or like generating prospects, I think would be great for the league, but just in general, I think it'd be super interesting and a new iteration of gaming and getting more kids to play video games and having that as a route. But we'll see. Hopefully it performs well.
We'll find out. Find out on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. Dun, dun, dun. Fucking Toonami. Let's just spitball. I'm not done recording this podcast, dude. I just want to. I have nothing to fucking talk about. What I really think AI is gonna.
Have you used Midjourney?
No, but I signed up.
I was playing around with it yesterday with Gabe. He's in the Discord for the beta. It is wild. Like, you can do. We're doing like tilt shift view of ants carrying a ruby, and it's like hyper realistic. You can put all those parameters in, and it spits out crazy images.
I just feel like there's been so many moments in the last 20 years of being on the internet where people have said that this is going to be the moment where life changes. I mean, everybody was talking about it with crypto and blockchain, and half the things nobody really even understood what people were talking about. And then everybody shilling NFTs, and the internet just hops from trend to trend, especially too now with a For You page that we have on Twitter. And we don't even need to talk about Elon going to charge people to actually have a For You page and the verification, Twitter Blue, all that.
Yeah.
Besides that, I have seen so many moments where people are talking about this is when the world changes. Like, we will never go back to life as we know it as this continues to grow. But without a deep understanding of AI, surface level, I just don't see a world where this is being sensationalized more than what will actually be true. I genuinely do believe the next 5 years are going to be fucking wild.
It's crazy to think about it as you're living through it, but this really is like an industrial revolution equivalent for today's time.
I award you no points. Industrial revolution. No, I agree, man. I just think that 6 months ago, for the common man, the average Joe, we didn't know anything about AI. You would always hear, like, years and years back when Elon would get on stage, they ask him, what are the things that scare you the most? He would say underpopulation, and AI.
Mm-hmm.
And now we are seeing things unravel in real time where 6 months ago there was nothing on our timelines about AI. And now every other tweet that I see is about AI.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think it's just because it's a hot topic. I just think that the consumer facing applications of what AI can do and how it can integrate into your everyday life is becoming realer and realer by the day, turning over to a new day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd love to let my mind wander as to the implications of what the next 5 years will be like.
It's about the implication.
It's about the implication. You got to pay the toll to get in that boy's hole, dude. The troll toll. I golfed with Charlie Day the other day.
You golf with Charlie Day?
I golf with Charlie Day. It's always sunny.
You just been sitting on that? You didn't tell me about this? What?
Did I not tell you about that?
No, that's fucking sick.
Yeah.
I don't get excited about many things, but that's
yeah,
dope.
one of my buddies invited me to play, and Charlie Day was there. And let me tell you this.
Was he funny?
He was fucking hilarious. I feel like it's probably tough for somebody like him who's getting invited to play golf with two guys he's never met before. The other guy we were playing was this 28-year-old Sri Lankan kid who played he went through Q school in Asia, out in Thailand and stuff, and he lives in LA or Orange County. This kid was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Man, could he hit the ball, but he was just like a regular guy, just talking, cracking jokes, and just fun to play with.
Mm-hmm.
So for four guys to be paired together who are all very different from each other, everybody's got to feel each other out. I'm sure Charlie, if from what he told, he's very busy. I think we can imagine somebody who's an A-list actor who's literally was talking about, I had to fly to London for 48 hours, do press for the Super Mario's movie. This guy's a big deal.
Yeah.
You would never, ever, if you woke up from a coma today and said you're going to go play golf with this guy, you would never expect him to be, as successful and as big of a deal as he actually is, because the guy was super down to earth. When you're got a ball 20 yards off the green and you're chipping, hit your ball, go putt, you leave your wedge there, he'd come back, pick it up, hand it to you. Anytime you hit a good shot, he's like, oh, great ball, wow,
yeah,
good shot. Just a fucking gem.
Yeah.
Just as nice as can be. He would randomly, we would be shooting the shit, as a group, and he would jump onto some of the things we talked about and just start going. Just everybody's fucking crying, laughing. Yeah. Hilarious. Just... Man, one of my favorite people that, they say never meet your heroes. Yeah. I mean, I'm certainly a big fan. Definitely didn't tell him that. But,
yeah.
I just wanted to be low key. I wanted him to be able to enjoy his time out there without feeling everything I'm doing is being judged. And all these guys, somebody in that position has to know that most people he meets probably know who he is.
Yeah.
So I didn't want it to be weird, but great fucking guy, man. Dude, just lived up to the hype.
That's awesome. We love to hear that.
They were telling stories about Jason Bateman and Will Arnett, and it was cool just be a fly on the wall.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, not only Eastbound and Down or Always Sunny, but Horrible Bosses too.
Yeah.
A little stint in Godzilla.
Brother, you know how his voice dude, I thought I my TV was playing in the background.
What's going on?
Brother, it was so cool.
How'd you shoot?
It was really windy. I hate playing golf in the wind, and it was pretty cold, but I didn't score well because I couldn't get off the tee. But the problems that I've had in the last couple of months when my game has kind of been in the shitter is I had a really nasty duck hook, just low left, not even in play. I was getting the ball up in the air. I was just dealing with a little bit of a slice and a block out to the right. So the problem with playing golf in California, a lot of places that you play, if you're not straight off the tee, you're kind of fucked.
Yeah.
I mean, there's certain courses that you can play out here that are link style where it's a little wider fairways, and even if you hit a bad shot, you go play on another hole. The course we were playing just didn't have that forgiveness. Mm-hmm. But my irons were dialed. Yeah. I was when you're not playing good golf, the only thing that I can take solace in is getting marginally better than you were the last round. Mm-hmm. And my ball striking was night and day in comparison to where I was the last month. So I was really, really happy. If I would have got off the tee, would have been better. But overall, my game is on the up and up.
So you didn't break any clubs?
No, I didn't break any clubs.
Thank God.
No, yeah. I mean, you've had to see me in some dark places. But yeah, man, I'm just competitive with myself. I've been taking like 2 golf lessons a week with this guy, Nick, at like 6 a.m. You know, I wake up, golf's the first thing I get to do, and then I get to come to work. So like the 6 a.m. time slot's been phenomenal. But it's wild to think that without taking lessons my entire life, like how wrong the sequencing of my swing was and the understanding of my swing. Because I watch a lot of like golf instructional shit, but unless somebody tells you what you're doing wrong, like you could sit there with a camera and your phone and try to diagnose what you're doing, but the solutions that you're trying to implement into your swing are sort of like a shortcut, and it's not actually fixing anything. You just think because it looks better that you're trending in the right direction. But until you get the feel of what like a proper, well put together golf swing feels like, you're really not making much progress. So I'm pretty fucking stoked. It's just important for me right now because I've got my bachelor party coming up, and I'm bringing my dad and my uncle and my brother out along with the groomsmen to play a bunch of golf. Like, I don't want to party. I just want to golf and play like poker at night at the house. Like, I don't want to go out to clubs. And then I'm going to Bandon Dunes, which was a trip that was scheduled like 2 years ago. I'm doing that in, I think, May or April.
Yeah.
And then I think I'm playing in like this AT&T Pro-Am. And then I've got to play in another golf event. So I've just got a lot of stuff coming up where I'd like to play well. You know, it's not weekend golf anymore where no matter what, the company I keep, I'm going to have a good time, but that good time will just be accentuated so much if I play well. So I'm like really focused on actually getting better and at least feeling equipped to play well. And if I don't, I don't. It is what it is, but I just want to know that I'm making progress, and I am.
If you don't, your 5-iron's going to be gone. You know,
5-irons actually, you know, these long irons used to be really intimidating for me, but man, I'm telling you, I'm excited. We got to get out there with the camera.
Yeah.
I feel bad because the content team's gotten a lot smaller, but I need to bring somebody out there with me and just record some rounds because my community's certainly been asking for it, you know?
I'm just laughing at our last experiment out there with the camcorder.
Yeah. We gave Joe the camcorders, this new one. The good guys use it. Really, all the big golf channels use it. But it's certainly not easy if you've never had that camera in your hand before. But it's tough because it was my first time using the camera, and it's got an internal zoom system. Like it's like truly like a camcorder.
Yeah.
And a lot of people use it for broadcasting now, like live news reporting and stuff. Very powerful. But when somebody hits the ball, you got to be able to like look at it in air while your hand is on the camera and you're waiting to zoom. And you have to leave enough separation in the composition of the shot for the first initial couple seconds of the shot to fly so you can do the shot tracer. But then you got to zoom in and find the ball as it lands. And depending on, who you're recording, it could be pretty tough if it's going right, left, or if you haven't done it before. But I was just frustrated with Joe because I would hit like a really good shot. And again, it was both of our first times using the camera. And I was just dialed. Dude, I'm like, oh, I got every ball landing. Joe's like zooming into the floor and zooming into the sky. Didn't track one single shot from that round.
Matt's barking at me like I've been a videographer for 10 years. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Well, I know you're a smart, capable guy, and I'm like, why can't you do this?
Well, I can't. The biggest thing, I was upset because I was like, why can't I figure this out? But I also just have terrible vision, and I didn't have, like, it's just bad. And I just can't even track my own fucking ball on the golf course.
I did get angry with you, but you got to you must admit though, I cooled down the temper and I was like, all right, so this is what we're gonna do, and I tried to help explain it. And then we just chalked it.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
I wasn't like yelling belligerently. I was just like, Joe, what the fuck, man? Like, dude, come on.
You're like Tom Cruise. It was like Tom Cruise on the set of Top Gun, yelling at the crew.
Oh yeah,
no,
guy's maniac. But wow,
I'm over exaggerating. It was good, but
yeah, we're gonna get out there.
Yeah.
All right. Feel like this is a good episode. It was all right.
Yeah, I mean we just
bullshitted.
Yeah, we'll see. I always think when we record, I always feel like it's okay, and looking back, it seems to be better than
Trying to think what our title and thumbnail will be right now. Did AI. We talked about Disguised Toast. Talked about Valorant and Yay. Talked about Adam Sandler. We'll find it. We'll find a title and thumbnail. Listen, you know, that's just the way these episodes are going to be.
Yeah.
We just got to keep trucking away. Persistence, keep showing up, having these episodes daily or weekly. It's not going to be perfect every time, and there's certainly not going to be as you know, highly engaged, riveting news happening 24/7. But we got to stay consistent, stay true, and hopefully people are just happy to be along for the ride. We appreciate all the support on the episodes. I think the podcasts have been doing pretty well after the fact. You know, normally you gauge success on YouTube when you're a daily uploader on like how it performs in the first 24 hours. But I feel like the production team's done a good job with the titles and thumbnails, so they perform better over time with just SEO and recommendations. So we'll find our way.
Yep.
Appreciate everybody tuning in. This is a good one. We appreciate y'all. Maybe we'll do this logo thing.
Yeah. We'll figure out a way to get submissions in. And
yeah, don't worry about submitting anything for the next episode. We'll get there. We'll find something. We're not trying to get graphic designers to work for free, by the way. That was like our biggest fear. Like, hey, we're doing a logo contest. Everybody send in your work. Guys, this is not 2013. We're not asking for free work. We have designers that can do it. But, you know, just give us more ammunition in the arsenal. We could put them up on the big screen and really lay into them, whether they're good or bad. But we'll figure out a way for you guys to submit those things for the next episode. We'll talk about it. But I think it could be fun.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys tuning in. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. We'll be back here with whatever the fuck we're calling the show, Nadeshot Knows or something. Hope you guys have a fantastic day, and YouTube. We'll see you fudging later. Goodbye.